Welcome to Point Blank. This is your host, Panama Crypto. Today our guest is Teddy, aka Teddy Kleps. Teddy is what we know as a cryptocurrency degen. He's co-founder of Yellow Block. Yellow Block is a blockchain news, educational market updates hub, and also crypto marketing agency. Welcome, Teddy. Good to have you here.
Hey, thank you so much for having me, man. It's my pleasure and honor to be here.
Sweet. Let's kick it off. So who is Teddy in real life?
Okay, who is Teddy in real life? I think that if you follow me on Twitter, you already have quite a glimpse of who I am. I mean, I'm quite transparent and I'm one of the few accounts that it's fully doxed, meaning that you sort of see my face, name and surname. Just for your information, I did not dox on purpose. I made an account on Twitter, I think in 2016 or 2017. Twitter asked, what's your name? What's your surname? Put your picture there. And that's exactly what I did. And then I found out a few weeks after that everybody was, a cartoon or a monster. So I did not dox on purpose, but it ended up being a very beneficial sort of aspect of my branding, as a lot of people sort of find, I guess, trust in me as they know who I am and I'm not going to run away with any dodgy shit. If you want to know a little bit more of who I am, I'm a half English, half Italian dude. That probably explains my weird accent, and I'm in my mid-20s. I was born and raised in Italy, specifically on Lake Como. It's a very, very beautiful, pretty place in the north of Italy, but there is absolutely nothing to do. And this is why I left Como with my ambition and I sort of went to the UK. That's where I went to Oxford and I studied there for 3 years, business management. I lived in London and Oxford for a few years, started and failed countless projects. I can't even remember how many projects I've started and failed. Never lost sort of the hunger for it. After living a few years in London, work sort of started to pick up. I got bored of my 9 to 5, my sort of very boring wake up, go to work, finish work, watch a TV show, go to bed, wake up, go to work, etc. So I decided to get my girlfriend and we left for Asia. We bought a one-way ticket. And we essentially never came back. We're still kind of part of our journey now. I think it's 3 years that we left for a few months, but never came back. Yes, we visited, but we essentially don't have a home. We've been living out of a suitcase for God knows how much time. And I don't think that's going to change anytime soon.
And what does Teddy do outside crypto? What are your hobbies?
Well, clearly I am as obsessed as anybody can be about cryptocurrencies. That's definitely eating a huge slice of my life. I literally wake up, go to sleep and dream and think about crypto at any moment that I'm awake. But when I am not doing so, I have a huge obsession, almost an OCD when it comes to learning, in the sense that I can watch thousands and thousands of documentaries that are educational, whether it's about history, geography, science, business, politics. I just like to absorb as much knowledge as possible. So
what is the latest YouTube video you've seen?
Well, that's probably about cooking. That's what I wanted to jump in afterwards. But if about educational, that's probably about ancient Rome. I have, again, another huge obsession with history and specifically ancient Rome. I probably read 40 books on Rome and God knows how many documentaries. Like sometimes I just struggle to find new content about Rome. I'm super massively obsessed with food, street food, expensive food, super cheap to the point where you might get sick, but it's, kind of part of the experience. I love to cook. I can spend hours to just preparing and simmering and let it sort of soak in water 12 hours before I actually have to cook. I just find a lot of pleasure in cooking. I became vegan, I think, a few years ago. I mean, I still eat meat, but 90% of my food intake is plant-based, and that forces you to just use loads and loads of ingredients. Because if you don't have meat or fish, you need to find replacements, and it's a lot harder to find those replacements. So it means that you have to be creative with what you eat. And that's a nice challenge that I have on a daily basis. And well, of course, traveling. I mean, I love traveling. You meet a lot of people, a lot of expats, you meet a lot of locals, you're exposed to different cultures, different foods. And, it's a learning curve you just learn everywhere you go. And another huge obsession, probably my last one, is my dog. I mean, I'm not in a creepy way, but it's the adventures that I get with my dog. Because my dog, I mean, if you follow me on Twitter, you probably noticed that half of my pictures are of my dog. And I have a dog that has way too much energy as a border collie, and that means I have to take him on multiple hour-long hikes. So whenever I'm not trading or working, I will take my dog and literally climb, well, not climb, but like hike for 5 or 6 hours up and down the mountain. That's the only way I can get my dog tired. So something that we will do when I'm not in crypto is we literally open Google Maps. We look at a place that looks decent and just find a way to walk there. And that's, a good way of seeing beautiful landscapes, being disconnected, and just doing something that's healthy for you as well.
Awesome. So Teddy, how you got into crypto?
Well, okay, how do I get into crypto? Let's rewind back to 2012. So don't get me wrong, I'm not an early adopter. I didn't buy Bitcoin in 2012 to invest. I bought Bitcoin in 2012 to buy weed online. I think that Bitcoin was trading at around $60 or $80. I just remember thinking like, okay, one, it's massively complicated to get this shitty virtual currency. How is this even going to get adopted? And why is this shitty cryptocurrency that it's very hard to get a hold of worth $60, $80? This is a huge bubble. Whoever is paying $60 for this virtual coin is absolutely crazy. It's never going to go anywhere. And well, fast forward a few years and it's worth $20,000 per coin. I obviously didn't held one single coin of those that I used to buy. In hindsight, sometimes it keeps me awake at night knowing that I've probably spent the equivalent of like 10,000 euros for one individual joint. But but yeah, that's how I got my first exposure to crypto. I mean, I didn't think this was going to be one of my main sort of hobbies at all. Fast forward to 2016, I joined a website that I think everybody knows. It's called eToro. eToro, I was always a bit interested to sort of Forex. I always liked and fantasized of the idea of being able to make money buying and selling stocks. So I joined eToro, and eToro has this very cool feature that essentially allows you to copy traders. So you have this list where you have a very, very, very long list of traders, and each trader will have its own return on your investment. So you had these guys that were doing 5, 6, 20% weekly, which is already very impressive. But then you saw these guys that were doing like 300 or 400%. So I clicked on their profiles and I was seeing what they were buying. And they were not buying stocks. They were buying this weird thing that was called Ethereum. So I was like, okay, what the hell is Ethereum? Let's click on Ethereum. And I started researching it, and it sort of became a love at first sight. I think that Ethereum was kind of trading around $50, $70, and I started buying some, not a lot, because I mean, I've never been a baller myself in terms of money, but I started just accumulating some Ethereum, started buying some Bitcoin. That was trading at around $600, $700. So that was beginning of 2016. Again, it started as let's buy some Ethereum, let's join Reddit. Okay, I'm reading Reddit 6 hours a day. Let's look at YouTube videos. Let's make an account on Twitter. That's where I doxed myself. Let's joining Telegrams. And before you know it, I'm completely fully immersed with 17,000 different social media platforms and videos and subscribers. And it just literally took over my life to the point where I had a startup with my sister. I ended up quitting my job. I mean, I didn't want any money. I didn't want any equity. I just wanted to focus 100% on crypto. And this is where I am today. I mean, I have a very, very, very addictive personality, and crypto just kind of fulfilled that monkey on my shoulder.
So Teddy, you're a crypto nomad. What are your top recommendations to become a crypto nomad?
Okay, my first recommendation is probably, if you want to be a nomad, unless you made a fortune, go to Asia. I mean, it goes without saying. I think that Asia, it's a fantastic place because it can take you completely out of your comfort zone. I was born and raised in Italy, spent a lot of time in the UK. So cities that have a very, very strong infrastructure. So going to a place like Asia where the infrastructure can be drastically lower, it does pull you out of your comfort zones a lot, which is fantastic. I mean, you meet, I think that just the fact that you pack your suitcase and you decide to cross the world and go live somewhere in Asia, it already says a lot about yourself. So anybody that you meet there doing the same thing will be a like-minded person. So definitely start by Asia. I think that a lot of people are afraid that they don't have enough money. Look, you need a lot less money than you expect. Of course, you can spend 300 euro for a sandwich, but you can spend 30 cents. It's just up to you to be a little bit street smart and sort of knowing where to go and what to do and where to sleep. So definitely start by Asia. You need a lot less money than you expect. You can very easily live for a year with like 10, 15 grand, and you just have a fantastic life. I mean, the quality of life, it's outrageous. Don't expect to go to Asia and look for a job there, because you will never find it for visa purposes. And if you do find the job, chances are that it will be for local income. So that money will most probably not last you long. So I suggest that if you decide to go on a digital nomad sort of path, make sure that you either have enough money, that you have a job that allows you to work remotely, because otherwise you're not gonna, you're there on a very tight sort of timeline. What I loved is that I was in Asia, I think in 2017 when crypto was booming. I was specifically in Bali, and Bali is a place that has a lot of specifically digital nomads, but people that were into crypto. And every single night there were crypto meetups. So every single night I was going to events with maybe 5 people, maybe 25 people, and I was continuously meeting people that were into crypto, that we were experimenting what it was, because crypto was relatively new to us. And I've met a lot of crypto enthusiasts that I'm still talking to them today. I think that some of them are on crypto Twitter as well. They don't produce content, but they're sort of there among the community. And just do it. I mean, like, you just need to do it. I think you can find a million reasons not to start this digital nomad journey. The only thing you need to do is to just book a flight and go. I mean, you will sort it out once you're there. If you hate it, just get a return ticket. But just do it. It's definitely been one of the best experiences that I've ever had. And I mean, as much as I want to settle down, every time that I look for a long-term flat, I get a stomach ache that just makes me want to go travel even more. So it's an incredibly addictive thing. I mean, even now, I'm not in Asia as we speak. I think I don't even know what month is it. It's September. I'm in Europe, and I'm still kind of traveling around. It's still cheaper to get a very decent flat, especially now during the pandemic-ish vibe area, than getting something long-term. Airbnb has amazing sort of deals, so go for it. Just do
it. Any plans to hit up Costa Rica or Panama?
I've never been in that side of the world. I mean, I've been pretty much all over Asia, all over Europe. When it comes to like America and South America, I think I've only visited Miami and LA, but I desperately want to go to like do a South American tour and then sort of go to the north. Absolutely 100%. But yeah, I will definitely be there and hopefully meet you.
I sure hope so, man. Grab a few beers.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, Teddy, so what current crypto projects you got going on?
So with regards to crypto projects, our main gig, I mean, we had a lot of little projects, but I think that then we ended up focusing on one and sort of putting our entire energy on that project as well. I think that one thing that I've learned is that you might as well have fewer projects that have 100% of your attention span, as opposed to having 100 things and do them with a foot in and a foot out. So to recap, as we speak, we essentially only have Yellowblog. Yellowblog is an educational hub in a community. We every single day we release news to the community, whether it's educational content, recreational content, and we monetize this by essentially being a digital agency. A digital agency means that, to keep it very transparent, we do promotions on Twitter. We leverage our platforms that after spending 3 years shit posting 24/7, it's about time that we try and monetize this as well. We work on marketing campaigns for projects. I think that there are a lot of drawbacks for companies that advertise in crypto, and we wanted to solve them. So one of them can very simply be that companies never understand the dynamics of the community, meaning that you can have the most legitimate project in the space, but if you advertise with the wrong individual, it can very easily ruin the entire reputation of the project, regardless of how good the project is. So, I mean, you can advertise for a scammer, and your project automatically becomes a scam in the eyes of the community. It doesn't matter how honest you are. I think that a second taboo in the community is disclosing. I think that a lot of people do ads and they don't disclose. This can be very misleading to the community, but it can also ruin the project in the sense that, oh shit, it's just a paid shill. This is not even worth looking into it. So we decided, how can we solve this? I mean, we want to be transparent with the community, but we also want to make sure that the project doesn't look bad when they advertise. So it's very simple, but this is something that we traditionally and religiously do, is that whenever we do a marketing campaign, we always disclose what we're doing. Hey, we're going to help this undervalued exchange for the next few months. So we're essentially telling our followers that we will be working on this project. So that allows us to kind of work stress-free, sort of not knowing that people will not be misled. And we also have all over our banners that we have partners for those specific months. And finally, I think that one of our strengths from Yellowblock is the fact that whenever companies work with influencers, what usually lacks is the quality of the content. You get a very cold post. I mean, I don't think that ads have generally convert very well in crypto, because you have somebody who tweets in a very specific style and then they just throw in this ad and people don't really look at it properly because it's just an ad. So we decided, how can we try and elevate how advertisements are done on crypto? So let's not just do, chart, referral, click the referral, that's it. We invest way more time that people expect in doing the interviews, in doing AMAs, in doing reviews, in doing press. So we, instead of just doing a very cold tweet that, let's be honest, will have very low conversion rates, we actually work in trying to deliver a complete marketing campaign. So we will cover the updates. Everything that they do, we just try to educate the community as much as possible on what this project is doing, fully disclose, and with accounts that have a good reputation among the community. So it's a relatively risk-free investment for our clients. And so far, I mean, everybody's been very happy. So, we had no backlash for the community because we are very transparent. Projects are happy with their results because, we do deliver a disgusting amount of content, and that content, it's usually with very good quality. So yeah, that's, to keep it short, that's Yellowblock. We do ads.
Nice. Changing a bit of subjects here. What is your take on the Sushi soap opera?
Oh, Sushi. Okay. So Sushi. Okay, the community is clearly, in my opinion, I don't want to offend anybody, but exploding this out of proportion. I mean, there is shit happening every single minute in crypto. Just because this has a little bit more attention than other projects, it's like it just became this new Game of Thrones of cryptocurrency. People leaving the project being pushed to other developers, and these developers looking for people who can sign up, and speculators complaining and developers saying he was right. Like, it's just show the fuck down in a sense that, look, it's the Wild West. In some sense, everybody is allowed to do what they want. It doesn't, within ethical bounds. I mean, you have a lot of people that are demolishing CZ just for listing Sushi. I mean, CZ has never forced anybody to buy. I think that CZ is running a company. He's not running a charity. I think that his role is here to make money and to educate you as much and not to educate you as much as possible. If CZ, let's say Binance, was actually concerned about users, they sure as hell would not put 125x leverage, because the coin drops 0.75% and you liquidate it. I mean, that's pure gambling. So clearly exchanges are not there for the best interest of users, and I think that goes without saying. I think that centralized exchanges are under a lot of pressure by decentralized solutions that are getting better and better and more popular. So, I mean, decentralized exchanges were utter trash a few months ago, a few years ago. Now you can actually start to use them. So now, decentralized exchanges are a viable alternative to centralized exchanges. Because of this, centralized exchanges like Binance, like Qcoin, like Coinbase are forced to be incredibly innovative, to ride the hype. And in situations like this, it may mean listing coins that are super hyped, like Sushi. I mean, a lot of people are like, oh, he didn't do his research and he listed. Of course he did his research. I mean, they probably have a team of 100 people that looked into Sushi. The code looks great. I mean, the guy did an exit scam. The guy just sold his tokens. Sushi is still there and working. He didn't steal money from people. So yes, CZ probably did his research, probably not as much as he showed, but he listed it and nobody knew this guy was going to sell his token and leave the project. And even if he did, God bless, the only people that got affected were speculators, because if you were farming Sushi, you were essentially getting Sushi for free. So if the Sushi lost value, your free earnings lost value. You didn't lose value in what you actually invested in the first place. So if you were farming, so being an active member of the ecosystem, he actually didn't even get scratched. Fuck, I've lost some profits, but I didn't lose anything. The people that got hurt are greedy traders like me that see a hyped coin and they trade it. I mean, that's your fault. I mean, no coin is safe to trade. It's up to you to have your own risk management and to protect yourself. CZ just provided liquidity. So I think that people have definitely exploded this in terms of how bad it is. I don't think it's bad. I mean, this dude just sold his tokens. It would have been bad if he actually stole the coins that were locked, which were a few hundred million or billions. I don't even know how much stupid money was locked, but he just sold his tokens, man, and he left the project. He didn't fuck up the ecosystem. He didn't exit scam. He just said, look, I'm going to leave it. I'm going to sell my tokens. I'm going to give my access key, however you want to call it, another technical term, to Alameda from FTX. That's it. Of course, people are bored. People are looking to point fingers and not looking for sort of something to dramatize about. I think it was an interesting saga to sort of follow for a few hours. Nothing more, nothing less.
I guess people need always someone to blame, and it always falls on the exchange side.
Like, it's kind of like, but like exchanges are going to list decentralized projects. That's the future of crypto. Like, there's only so much research you can do in these anonymous developers. If the code is good and it looks stable, list it. I mean, it's up to people if they want to buy it or not. He's just giving you the blessing of a lot of liquidity. He didn't force or tweet anything specific forcing people to go buy Sushi because it's the best ecosystem in the entire world to farm cryptocurrencies or whatever it was. So I'm like, I don't really care as much as many people do.
This episode is brought to you by PrimeXBT, the exchange that makes possible to trade with leverage on legacy markets from a single Bitcoin-based account. You riding the farming hype? What farming coins you have?
I'm sorry to disappoint many of my degenerate followers, but I actually didn't farm shit, in a sense that I think that I'm slowly becoming a boomer, in a sense that there is only so much risk that I'm willing to put myself under. My number one rule when it comes to investing and trading is always prioritize capital preservation as opposed to trying to grow it. Protect your fucking money and then grow it. Don't go full on degenerate, because the first thing that's going to happen the moment you go take a piss, you come back, you're down 25%. So, make sure that doesn't happen. And farming for me, the idea of having to get a token, swap it for a token, send that token to a ERC20 pool so you can get another token instead, and a backed token, it's like, I can't be asked. I really can't be asked. I've tried to look into it. There were literally too many steps, and I was like, fuck that. So farming, I did not farm. I scalped as a speculator some of those trending coins, like Wi-Fi. I don't know how to pronounce it, but I'm sure people know what I'm talking about. I did buy and sell Sushi, but I didn't farm them. An alternative that I found to this is that, yes, the returns are going to be more realistic, but in my opinion, it's a lot easier and a lot safer, is that I will go on centralized solutions like Qcoin or like Binance, and I will stake some stable coins. So maybe my returns are not going to be, I don't know, 800%. Some people will be making mad money in like 50 minutes. They'd be like invested 5 Ethereums and pulled out like 50 of them. Like, I don't even know how that happened, but my returns are maybe like 10-12% per year. So I get my beautiful USDT, USDN, whatever currency it is. I put it in my safe stake centralized solution staking wallet, and I get my little return on a weekly basis. That for me is enough. It's still 800 times more than my bank will give me. It's safe. If that shit collapses, I'm gonna point my finger at CZ, how people have been doing for Sushi last week, and make sure I get my money back, because it's a centralized solution and it better be insured. And no, nothing. So that's the approach that I've taken. Look, I've already spent so much time looking at charts. I spend so much time producing content and managing and helping the team with Yellow Block, that the last thing that I have to do, that I have time to do, is to manage my coins being farmed and make sure that my crops are being picked up and that my bananas are. I don't even know what I don't even know what you need to do. But whatever time I have left, as I've mentioned above, I spend it going out with my dog or reading or cooking. I'd rather cook real food than farm virtual currencies. So I think that's where I draw my line to sort of how much degenerate I actually go with crypto. Have you been farming?
Sort of, just a little bit. Not as degenerate as Messiah, but good enough. The hype is there, the money's there, but not willing to risk it all just for the nookie.
Yeah, and like, I don't know, like this, and not to mention that farming is pretty much murdering the entire Ethereum network. Just give you a very basic example. I just wanted to send my USDT from my wallet to a beautiful, easy, centralized solution to stake it. It took 3 days to arrive. 3 fucking days. I could have put it on a camel. We were talking less to take there, because the fee was out of proportion. I mean, I must have paid a few dollars for a medium fee, maybe like $15. I can't remember. The fee was out of the world. I mean, and it took like 3 days to arrive, when usually it's a few cents in a few minutes. So everybody, please stop farming, because you're fucking up the Ethereum network. You have people here that just want to have a normal life and not wait days and spend so much money for it to happen. So stop farming.
So not much into farming, Teddy. What cryptocurrencies you are most hyped about, if not into farming types of coins?
Okay. Well, surprise. I'm a huge fan of stablecoins. Quick and cheap stablecoins. Why? Because I like to go to bed and wake up with the same balance that I had when I went to sleep, and not 25% less. I mean, since I made the conscious decision of, let's drop my 50,000 different shit coins and let's just drastically increase my USDT exposure, I've never slept so well in my entire life. So, I trade. I trade every single day. I buy coins that I don't even know what they do, and I sell them within a few hours or a few minutes. That's kind of the approach that I've taken. So since the 2018, I've promised myself that I was never going to hold anything. And I pretty much didn't hold anything more than a few days since 2018. So I take a very strict trader perspective, in a sense that every morning I start with USDT and I scalp coins that are trending for the day. At the end of the day, before I go to sleep, I either put a stop loss or I sell it, and I go to sleep with my USDT. Some days it's more, some days I'm human and it's less. But at least I know that everything is under control. Having said that, I am, of course, keeping currencies under the radar that are, I'm a big fan of interoperability. So if people don't know what interoperability is, an awfully long and necessary word to essentially say that they are connecting multiple blockchains together. So we have, there's probably more blockchains than users today in crypto. I mean, there are so many different blockchains. Interoperability solutions are essentially connecting blockchains. So you can connect the Cardano network with Waves network. You can connect the Waves network with Ethereum, etc. So interoperability solutions like Polkadot, like Tezos, allow you to connect this incredibly isolated ecosystems into one big one. And I think that's where the future is going to be at. I think there's going to be a lot of focus on interoperability. So if you are a believer into interoperability, you should look into ecosystems that are like Polkadot, Tezos. I'm a big supporter in Waves of some of my partners. They have Gravity, but Gravity is the only interoperability solution that doesn't have a token, so there's nothing to speculate there. So yeah, I'm a big believer in interoperability solutions, and I'm a big fan of privacy coins. They're not trending at all today. I'm a big fan of Zcoin. Obviously, not paid to say so, but I love the team. I love how innovative they are.
But you would like to?
But I don't think so, because I don't think that sort of partnerships. I don't think they will ever do it in the first place. But I know the team quite well. I mean, I used to talk to them very, very often, and I just love what they do. And I know that they have the vision at heart more than the profits. I mean, the tokens is worth fuck all today, so there's no profits to be made there. So it's, that allows them to focus entirely on the privacy aspect of it. So I definitely, anything that can add privacy is great. I mean, if you're listening to this, I'm pretty sure that you're aware of the fact that nothing is private with Bitcoin. I mean, you can track every single transaction. So being able to actually have a somewhat of a privacy when transacting is great, because I can send you now some money and everybody can know about it as long as they see the transaction. So yeah, interoperability, privacy. I mean, yeah, I'm a huge believer when it comes to supply chain, but I do think that supply chains don't need tokens. So I'm a bit, I follow that industry, but I don't really partake within it. And yeah, I mean, I think I'm a Bitcoin maximalist, to be honest. I mean, I was full on altcoin degenerate, but I'm slowly becoming more of a Bitcoin degenerate and just buying shit coins with a very tight expiry date of a few minutes or a few hours.
You just don't become a toxic Bitcoin maximalist.
Yeah, I can say that I'm a toxic Bitcoin maximalist. I mean, I'm very open-minded, but I'm always very skeptical. I mean, I'm confident that 99.9% of these coins are going to die in a decade. Goes without saying. If they don't die, yeah, I mean, you can just look at CoinMarketCap. CoinMarketCap has a very cool feature. I don't know if you guys know about it, but if you go top right or top left, I don't know, click somewhere, there should be a tool section. If you click the tool section, you can scroll down and you have historical snapshots. In historical snapshots, you can essentially select a date since the creation of CoinMarketCap until today, and you can see CoinMarketCap, how it looked in 2014, 2015, 2017. And a pattern that it's repeating every single year is that every single year, the list of coins on CoinMarketCap is completely different. So this is why I don't marry any specific coin, because every year the hypes are going to be different. The trends are going to be different. Some coins are going to die. Some are going to merge. Some are going to be better. So, I mean, I'm not a fan of hodling, and it's not a technique that I encourage people to do unless it's a coin that you just madly in love, like Bitcoin or Ethereum, because chances are that it's probably going to die. So be careful.
Have you checked out the Binance Launchpool? You think that CC Baby will still market share from closest competitors?
I hope so, for the simple reason that it will definitely make it a lot more user-friendly and people might actually understand what it is and how it works, like me. So I will actually have the opportunity of farming instead of just going on the website and thinking, whoa, what's going on here? Okay, so as I've said before, like, CZ, he is fighting to remain relevant. A few months ago, it was decentralized exchanges, and he jumped on that train. I think that now the decentralized exchange of Binance is pretty much dead. I mean, I don't think I've ever met anybody who actually actively trades there. I think that the volume of coins on Binance DEX, it's close to zero. I mean, he did the Launchpad thing the moment that the trend died. I can't remember the last time that I saw a Launchpad coin. I think that, now the trend is to farm coins, and he's jumping on that train as well. I don't blame him. I mean, if I was ahead of a centralized exchange with a lot of resources, you need to, out of survival, just jump on every single hype. I mean, I don't really know if it's true or not. I think that whoever's listening to this might unfollow me afterwards, but I think that there are more exchanges than coins. I just remember reading somewhere that it's like more than 1,000 cryptocurrency exchanges. It's like a ridiculous amount of cryptocurrencies exchanges. So it's vital that if you want to survive, you need to adapt. A few months ago it was DEX, and today it's farming coins. Maybe before it was launching coins, but today it's farming, and I think that they will do a great job. I think that's something where Binance usually thrives, is making things very, 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 very stupidly easy. I mean, all you have to do to farm coins on Binance, I think you need to buy BNB or USDB or Boost, however their stable coin is called, and you stake that and you automatically farm the coin, which makes it 500 steps shorter than farming coins on Sushi. So I'm all up for that. I mean, I'll gladly earn a smaller percentage if all I have to do is to click once or twice. I mean, I just can't be asked to farm. So I'm all down for supporting CZ and his venture of farming, which will most probably be forgotten in 3 months.
Same as every other farming coin in the coming few years.
I mean, every trend comes and goes. There have been countless trends since I've joined. I've seen you here for a few years as well. Since we've been here, we've seen the rise and fall of countless trends. I mean, it's impossible to even remember them all. So farming is one of them that is going to come and go, and something else is going to come that's going to be even easier, even more profitable. I hope so. Hopefully easier.
I was mentioning something similar to what you just said. Early in 2018, only few people knew how to actually deploy masternodes. I don't know if you remember this.
Oh yeah, masternodes, of course, yeah. Financial freedom.
Yeah. Like you needed to at least know how to code in Linux in order to deploy a masternode. And at mid Q2, there was a few deploying masternode services that came out to market, where you could deploy a masternode with a single click and only the amount of tokens that you needed for that specific coin. Now in farming, it's a bit complicated, quote unquote, much easier than when masternode staking started.
Yeah.
So I guess it's my opinion, my 2 cents, that eventually this year, easier services like the one that CC is launching right now, Launchpool, what it's called, it's gonna simplify exponentially the deployment of farming, whatever the fuck that means.
Yeah. Look, eventually you're gonna farm coins by just clicking OK. I mean, it's kind of like how much exposure do you want to have? 5% or 100%? You select it, you press farm, and you just earn coins. I think that's kind of what's going to happen in the near future. It's funny that you mentioned masternodes, and we sort of talked about Zcoin a few minutes ago. I remember that in the core of the hype, a Zcoin masternode was worth like 100 or 200 grand, like an outrageous amount of money, and it was generating like 5 figures a day or a week or a month. I can't remember, but it was just like a madly profitable thing to have a masternode. And now a masternode, you can have a masternode for like €1,000. It's just a fraction of what it was. And I remember people that were losing 6 figures because they were asking on the main Telegram how to set up a masternode, and then somebody with a fake account would send them a DM and say, hey, don't worry, send me the funds and I will set up the masternode for you. And I remember that half of the messages on the Telegram were people getting scammed. And people are not getting scammed now with farming, by no means, but a lot of people are losing money. I think I saw a tweet this morning of a guy that he sent $1 million USDT to the wrong fucking address. So he wanted to send the money to Sushi or to a Sushi pair. I don't even know how it works, but he essentially wanted to send that money to Sushi, but he sent it to the wrong address. So he lost €1 million. It's like, what? How is that even possible? And this is why I think that, unless you are able to fix this on a centralized solution, centralized solutions like Binance will always have a role in this space. We're getting there with decentralization. It's improving at the speed of light. If you asked me 3 years ago how it would have been today, I never would have been as impressed as it is today. You can trade, you can stake, you can farm. It's great. But until you're able to fix mistakes like this, there's always going to be somebody like CZ offering a better, easier solution to you. And that's just the truth of the matter. It's like, until it's just safe, centralized solutions will always exist. I mean, even today, if I send 100, even if it's just 100 euros, I'm looking at the transaction load and I'm looking at the confirmations and I'm checking that the public address is correct 50,000 times before I send money. It's kind of like, yeah, I mean, the ecosystem that we have today is great, but we're not there yet. It's still scary to send money. It still takes 3 days if I can receive USDD because people are farming. They're congesting the network. So, I mean, there's always going to be space for centralized solutions like Binance, as long as the space is a bit immature the way it is today. I mean, immature is not the right word. It's just not there yet.
Yeah, and for mass adoption, you need user-friendly UIs. Like right now, it's not possible to have some mass adoption if we don't get there.
Yeah, exactly. So it's a matter of time. I'm very, very ambitious. If I wasn't as ambitious as I am, I sure as hell would have dedicated my entire day to cryptocurrencies. So the reason that I quit everything that I do to focus on crypto is because I am ambitious as hell that we're going to get there. I mean, the speed at which the space is evolving is impressive to say the least. I mean, so I'm confident that 101% we will get there. It's just a matter of when as opposed to if.
And off to the last question, Teddy. 2020 closing. What do you expect from this lit year?
Okay, 2020. So I guess we were talking about general prices of the market. Where are we going? Okay, so with regards to Bitcoin, I want everybody that is following me that has a computer to just open TradingView, open a weekly chart, get an horizontal line, nothing too complicated here, and put a line at 11.7. So that's a resistance level that is essentially a line, a very thin line that divides bear market from bull market. Since we had the mania in 2017 and we broke past the level all the way to 20,000, we have never broke that level, confirmed it as support, and continued above it. So regardless of how bullish the market was, how many fantastic news and partnerships and new exchanges, and regardless of how much money people were making, people quitting jobs, every single time that we have reapproached $11,700, we have never had a strong weekly trend above it. Yes, we've ranged there on daily time frames, but we've always dumped back down whenever we retested the level as a support. So on the grand scheme of things, I know that this is a very easy way of keeping my hands clean. Is look, the moment that we do have some weekly candles above 11.7, at that point we're going high, and we're going really, really high. I think that we're going to gain a lot of momentum from 11.7 because it's close to no resistance above it. I mean, it will take a blink of an eye to go from 12 to 14 and from the 14 to 17 and then test all-time high. Then, of course, it's going to take ages before we break it. But as long as we don't chill for a long time above 11.7, I remain a bit skeptical and see every single hype run as a lower high in some sense. So as long as we are above, very, very bullish. As long as we are below, be careful, start raising your stop losses and be a little bit more careful. Bitcoin aside, which this is kind of my general rule. I mean, you can make a ton of money on shorter time frames, it goes without saying, but my weekly 11.7 it's a strong indicator of, are we in a bullish market or bearish market? I think that there are nonetheless going to be endless opportunities in crypto with regards to DeFi, in a sense that, this year's trend is DeFi farming, so you can make money there if you know how to, not me. Yeah, I mean, like altcoins, I sure as hell didn't expect altcoins to go like in 10x, 20x runs the way they did. So, I mean, I've definitely missed out on a lot of these runs. It goes without saying, as I've mentioned, probably 3 hours ago, I have no idea how long we talked. I've mentioned that I go to sleep with USDN and USDT and wake up with USDT. So this means that, yes, I lose close to no money whatsoever, but as a consequence of this, I do miss a humongous amount of hype, of upside. So maybe, I get a 20-30%. I call that a fantastic day, and then have dinner, look back, and it's up 200%. So that's kind of like where I guess my weakness is, that I've been a bit traumatized from the bear market. And as a consequence of this, I clearly did not expect altcoins to trend as much as they did the last few months. For the rest of 2020, if I have to give a prediction, I don't think that we're going to break all-time high. I don't think that we have many bearish catalysts. There's not much that can go wrong in this space. The only thing that can really fuck it up big times is if we were to get a very, very strong wave 2 for COVID. So it doesn't matter how bullish TA may be. If we go in a strong lockdown, that's going to correct really, really low. We went from 10K to 3K overnight in March, and nothing can stop that from happening again. And so, as long as, just to recap all of my bullshit, I think as long as we don't have a massively aggressive lockdown again, there's no reason to be too bearish of Bitcoin. And I suggest people not to get too excited as long as we are not above 11.7 on weekly timeframes. Until proven otherwise, dips are for buying. Again, if I have to give a little bit of advice on risk management, if you have aside some money that you want to invest to buy dips, do not, and I repeat, do not use all that money at once to buy Bitcoin. That's what I always tell people that, ask me, like friends or family, friends of friends of friends. It's like, how and when should I buy Bitcoin? Get your budget, get 1,000 euros, 10,000 euros. It can be 100, it can be 15, I don't care. Buy some to begin with. At least you remove that FOMO that you have. You know what I mean? Like, at least you buy Bitcoin, you're happy. But dedicate 5-15% of your budget. Buy some, and now every week buy some a little bit. It's trading at 10,000 and now it's now at 9. Buy a little bit more. Did it pump all the way to 12? Okay, buy a little bit more, so you're not risking FOMO buying. You're buying in the strength of the trend. It dips, buy some. So buy some every week, every 2 weeks. There's absolutely no rush to FOMO. Bitcoin is going to be here for the next 50, 100 years. So no need to rush anywhere. So if you have a budget, dips are for buying, but don't buy all at once, because as we can see, it dropped 2,000 in like 2 days. So, go in slowly and have fun. And if you make a lot of money, give me some.
And with that thought, we end our episode. I really enjoyed having you on Point Blank. Thanks for coming on, Teddy. Can you tell us where we can find you?
Thank you, man, for having me. It's been a really, really fun podcast to sort of attend. So if you want to follow me, go on Twitter, put that beautiful / and write Teddy Kleps, and the profile that will appear, that's my beautiful face. If you want to follow my project, it's called Yellowblock. So /Yellowblock _IO, or just go yellowblock.io. That's pretty much it, man. And you will find links from our website on my profile. But yeah, Teddy Kleps, it's me. Any social media, Instagram, Facebook. Actually, I don't have Facebook. Instagram, Twitter, it's always me. Teddy Kleps, it's me. Just follow me.
Thanks for listening. Until next time. Peace. This episode was brought to you by PrimeXBT, the exchange where you can trade without KYC on legacy markets with your Bitcoin. You can trade commodities like gold, silver, oil, even indexes and forex. Join now and get a 50% bonus on top of your deposit for trading at u.primexbt.com/Panama.